Hello and welcome to Dapper Drams, where we taste and review whiskey to try to determine if the dram in our glass is indeed a Dapper Dram. Well, as you can see, I'm still in the bunker, practicing self-isolation and social distancing, mostly against Jerry for nearly destroying my security system, but also, that's just the way of the world these days. They got this pandemic on. I gotta do for me and mine. So anyway, Jerry is on lockdown, and I've got a fairly uncommon scotch on my cask today. This is the Highland Cask Strength Edition. It's a no-age statement single malt that is clocking in at a whopping 63% ABV. Now, as all Highland Park whiskeys are, this is natural color. This one happens to be also non-chill filtered. I received this little guy as a Christmas gift from my good friend Mr. Lee Evolved. And I say little guy because, as you can see, it's a little half bottle. Now, in the US, in the States, in North America, half bottles would be generally 375 milliliters. However, this one is only 350 milliliters. Now, the reason for that is because this is a UK exclusive, and their bottles, their normal size bottles, are 700 milliliters, where ours are 750. Just a little info on the bottle is all. Now, I've only ever had one other scotch that is clocked in at this particular high strength of 63%, and that was the Octomore 7.3. I've had several others that have clocked in over 60%, but not many. And the highest one I've ever had was actually not a scotch. It was an Indian single malt from Amrut called the Greedy Angels 10-year-old. And it was the cask strength little bottle that you got along with the standard bottle that came at, I think, 46%. But anyway, the cask strength version was a whopping 71%. That was a monster for sure. All that math aside, let's get on to this thing. When I first opened this bottle, I found that it was so strong. The alcohol content was so powerful that it would burn my nose hairs if I got it too close. And I could barely approach it until after it settled down for a few minutes, But now, a little time in the bottle with some oxidization has really mellowed it out. I do get a strong tangerine note, as well as a weird, earthy, sweaty, funky kind of note. It's not bad, it's good, but it's just a little funky. There's some light sherry in there too, green grapes, and a little vanilla. Not much else, sadly. Let's go in for a taste. Ooh, hot. This stuff is intense. It's very fruity, though. Tropical fruits, like mango and papaya, oranges, and pineapple. I find that I get a lot of pineapple in Highland Park whiskeys. I do enjoy it. It's good, but sadly, it's just too intense. It's too intense to enjoy and get much else out of it. Now, as you can see, the bottle's just about gone. Now, that has a little bit to do with the fact that it's a small bottle, but also I did a lot of experimenting with this bottle when it came to the usage of water. I don't use water often in whiskeys because generally it's not an issue. I enjoy it straight out of the bottle as the distiller intended. But for this one, because it was so intense, I decided to add some water and see if I could find something that was a little bit more tolerable. And knowing that I was going to be doing this video review, I decided to pour a glass beforehand, add the amount of water that I like, and have it ready for you just for this occasion. Now, I got this to about the 46 to 48, maybe even 50% range. I don't know exactly because I don't have a hydrometer on hand to tell you exactly what it is, but I know it's down there. And I know it's about that level because if I add any more water, I'll start to get Scotch mist. And as most people know, if you don't know already, I'll tell you that Scotch mist won't form in an unchill filtered whiskey until it reaches below 46%. That's typical. That's not 100%. So I'm guessing that right now there might even be a little bit of mist showing. So I might have hit that 46% or below. But in any case, this is about where I like it. So I'm going to give you my review from where I actually prefer this, which again, I believe is at or around the 46% mark. Now the nose is much fruitier. The tangerines and vanilla, much stronger. But there's also raspberries and strawberries as well. It's a very buttery sherry and a bit waxy too. A definite fudgy note and some spicy chocolate. Some caramel and honey. And even a dark roasted malt note, not unlike those you would find in a stout or a porter, but not quite that intense. It's a big improvement over neat. So now for the palate. The water takes away most of the heat, but not all of it. The intensity of the tropical fruits is down as well, but they're still there. And far more enjoyable. Pineapple, mango, oranges. A light smoky note with some barrel char. But mainly it's sweet. It's not a sugary sweet, but more of a fruity sweet. More of a natural sweetness. Some spicy oak, honey, and some oak tannins. Far superior, again, than the neat version straight out of the bottle. Now, some people may really enjoy this neat as they crave the strong, intense flavors. They crave the burn of the high alcohol. But that's just not for me in this case. Other examples that I've had, like the Tamdu single cask strength, I loved that one neat. Couldn't get enough of it. This one, however, just too much. Now for a score, I'm actually going to give it 2 scores. One neat and one with water added. Now for neat, I'm going to give this 15 out of 23 face masks. And with water, it will get 18 out of 23 face masks. And of course, as always, the question of the day is this a dapper dram? Well, neat, I'm going to say no. It's just too intense, can't handle it. With water, I'll say yes, but it's just barely. There's not a huge wealth of flavors and complexity going on, but I did enjoy it quite thoroughly. And I will continue to enjoy it until this is gone, but it won't be too long for that to happen. Now, if you would like to read the full review, you can head on over to distiller.com, search the username generously_Paul, where you can read this and all of my reviews. Well, that's all the time we have for today on Dapper Drams. I've got to go and make sure that Jerry hasn't broken out of his mom's basement. We'll see you next time.